What's going on, guys? We are Tottenham TV. It's finished here. Palace 1, Tottenham 0 in a shambolic display. It really was from start to finish. Palace did a complete job on us. We couldn't lay a fucking glove on them for pretty much the whole game. Passing was a complete shambles, playing out the back consistently time and time again. And Palace were winning it in the middle of the park every single time. I mean, I thought after the second half it couldn't get worse than that, but it definitely didn't get better, that's for sure.
I think it probably did get worse, to be honest, in the second half. Even in the first half, we had a couple of moments, didn't we? Maddison had a chance. I think Van der Ven from a corner had a moment. Second half, we were just absolutely insipid. There was no killer instinct. He changed things up on the hour mark. He brought off Decky and Maddison. Big call, on the hour. But we got kind of being a bit proactive, trying to change things up. We went 4-4-2 or 4-2-4, whatever you want to look at it. And we had no answer. The deliveries weren't there. Richarlison couldn't get into the game. To be fair, I thought Werner was probably the only one, and Solanke looking to do something, but unfortunately the quality wasn't there, and we just kept getting destroyed. The wing backs were ruthlessly attacking those wide areas, and they were just like tireless up and down, Mitchell and Muniz on those wide areas, and we couldn't live with them. It felt like no one knew who was picking up those wing backs, and then who I think whenever it was Porro or Doggy going over to the wing backs, it just left Eze, and I think it was like a Maybe Sar with all sorts of space, and we just couldn't handle them. And then our build-up, I've never seen our build-up so nullified before. Like
build-up was non-existent. It was completely non-existent.
They completely pressed us into oblivion. We had no answer. The only times we were able to get out, it seemed, we went along to Dominic Solanke, but we just didn't do that often enough. And the times we did do that, it was okay, but sometimes he lost it, sometimes he won it. But he was the only one making it stick in the final third. Everyone else was weak, they couldn't hang on to the ball, and it led to Crystal Palace just kept going back at us. And going forward, we just couldn't play out. And that's exactly where the goal came as well. Playing out of the back, Romero plays a silly ball to Van der Ven. Van der Ven miscontrols it and slips, and they make the most of it. To be fair, watching the goal back, what a touch from Eze. Backheel volley into Mateta's path, but it comes from our own making again.
It should never have got to that stage. It was so silly from Romero, so sloppy from Van der Ven. And that was the common theme of the day, sloppiness. It was just sloppy from every single player on that pitch day. Pedro Porro, the amount of times he had it in good areas, sloppy. Brennan Johnson, sloppy. Everyone. I'm not even going to go through the whole team.
You can't even use Thursday as an excuse, because how many of those players started on Thursday?
Not many at all.
Doggy and who else? Just a Doggy.
Not many at all. Not many at all. The back four was only a Doggy.
A Doggy and Van der Ven.
Van der Ven didn't play.
Not Van der Ven.
It was just a Doggy. It was just a Doggy. It was just Richarlison, obviously, but he came off the bench. But
I'm saying the players who started today,
I think it was just a Doggy. None of the midfield. I feel sorry for Mikey Moore, man, because he got his big chance today in the Premier League. 17-year-old kid making his debut, and he was just part of just an insipid display, and it was just really difficult for him to get into the game at all.
Yeah, because no one else could.
There was no service for him whatsoever.
How can we rely on a 17-year-old kid to get into the game, and no one else could get into the game? So it was always going to be a difficult game for him. But look, going into this game, man, I could sense that it was going to be a difficult one, because the way they set up tactically, they were in a false position. I knew they're obviously a much better team than their results show, and I think they showed that today. They completely bullied us. But the problem for Spurs is that this is a bit of a pattern now away from home. We're weak. We give the opposition way too much of the game, and we can't seem to control oppositions away from home. And the intensity and the aggression just a lot of the time doesn't seem to be there away from home. I know Brighton and Man United at times it was there, but there's way too many games where we're just off the ball, and the opposition. The problem with us is when we're off it intensity-wise, because we're so open, the opposition just find it so easy to play through us, and all of a sudden they're in on our goal. And tactically, Palace got absolutely spot on, and we had no answer the whole game. Did we even have a shot in that second half? I don't remember too many attempts.
So. Massive boos from the away end at the end. Vicario coming over, apologising to the fans, and
a bit much, I
thought it was a bit over the top, all that booing. I mean, we've won 7 of our last 8 games, now 7 of our last 9 games. And yes, I know a lot of those wins have come in the Europa League and whatever, but still, it's not like we're on terrible form and we're putting in stinkers week in, week out. I feel like we've been playing well week in, week out. This is like kind of the exception over the last 8 or 9 games. So I thought those boos were a bit over the top, but I guess it was just born out of frustration out of the performance that we just saw.
I get the frustration, and it wasn't good enough. I don't think you can look at the players and not accuse them of not trying or anything. I think they were trying, but whether it was just we were being tactically outdone or what it was, we just weren't able to get a muster performance, and it's massively frustrating, really disappointing. And it was hard not to be angry watching it, because you're playing a team, however whatever you want to say about what players they got, they are near the bottom of the league. And what if other teams are able to combat what they're doing? Why can't we? And that's a massive frustration. But Palace are a good team. It was always, for me,
they did change it up today. They changed it up to what they have been doing.
They had their best 11 out there, and it was always going to be a difficult game, I thought, going to Selhurst Park, especially the way they set up, and so it proved. But I didn't expect us to have so little of the game and so little chances, to be honest. I mean, I don't know what the XG was for us today, but
it would have been extremely low. We hardly laid a glove on. I can't remember one meaningful chance we had in the whole game.
Yeah, neither can I. I mean, it's hard to see because we were down the other end, but I think Maddison might have had a good chance in the first half. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to see.
I'll tell you what, though, this ground, man, I hate it. View is shit. The sun was beaming in our eyes. I mean, it takes 10 years to get here as well. Well, doesn't get any easier. Man City up next on Wednesday night. We go again. Really frustrating, shambolic performance. Now the long trip back around the other end of London. Yeah, 4 defeats this season.
As 7 out of wins out of the last 9, but in the 9 games this season we have lost 4, and that's not great.
Shocking, absolutely shocking. Just talking about the performance here, I mean, I can't get over how bad we actually were today. For me, definitely the worst performance of the season, and I put commentary in that as well. So look, we'll see you all soon. Like, subscribe and comment, and as always, come on Spurs.